Back again, gentlemen.
Hello, lad.
Back in the comfy seats. Just a real quick question. Earlier in the week, we got to meet one Jordan Mailata, Super Bowl champion.
The champ is here.
How huge of a human being is he, and how would he have ever played rugby league, Shaun?
Well, when I was looking up at him, I said, thank the Lord you did go to the NFL, my friend. Yeah, a big human, an athletic human. Damn, he is built, hey? I don't know how the Rabbits let him go, to be fair. I would have done everything to keep that frame in my system. Oh, what?
Whoa. You know what?
Hey, that's his story, man. That's Shaun's story. Let's not judge him for how he feels.
Yeah.
He wants to start the show like, Shaun, that you do your thing, my boy.
You know what, Shaun? We're just proud to have you in our system. Here we go. Let's get into it.
Well, hold on, Marc. What?
Round 2.
My mate to the left here. One heck of a career you've had, man.
To be able to be in this space, announce my retirement.
Okay, let's go.
LeBron James, a shot in history.
And the Panthers have done it again. 4 premierships in a row.
A black wave pouring through Paris 2024. Back to black. New Zealand champions.
Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone!
6 of the best from Auckland FC.
We need a halfback.
I'm not playing.
I'm in, baby! I'm in!
Play on.
What's up, MVPs? We are back for another show. We love this play on. Shout out to Betcha for allowing us to do this. Shout out to YOUKNOWMEDIA as well. There's a lot to get through. How are we feeling, lads?
Oh, man. I don't know. There's something about the weekend sports that are just really delivering for me at the moment. And the weekend that's just been was no different. So I'm excited to talk about what we saw.
Absolutely. Marc, what's going on the show today, baby?
Yeah, we've got a lot to discuss. Of course, we will do our review on the Betcha Match Ups. And, man, what a weekend of sport. We would like to do a little bit of a breakdown with some Shaun Hub, which we get to, during the NRL season when it's pumping, we get to see within what's actually happening on the field due to Shaun. We also have a discussion around the part or the role that sports media plays and the journalists in sport itself. That's on the backs of what's been going on in America. So I'm really looking forward to getting to that, because we actually come from a very unique position when it comes to a discussion like that. And here in Aotearoa, we have a player who has recently retired, and Shaun Johnson.
Okay.
We've also got somebody who's tried their hand at being a sports career journalist.
That's you.
That's Matua.
So we actually have two sides covered, but from a more, I don't know, Australasian angle, and kind of where the roles sit. And because I'll be honest, I get a little uptight. When the conversation gets there.
Easy now.
We need to talk about it. But
You saying
plenty
easy
to do on
now
the show.
is crazy.
Also, really quickly too, congratulations to our finalists for our Fantasy NBA Basketball Finals.
Now, you wouldn't believe it. You just wouldn't believe it. You couldn't write a better script.
It's staying at home.
For those of you that aren't quite sure of what we're talking about, your boy Brook and myself here have made it to the biggest game of the year, the grand final, to compete for the Play On BNZ belt. So
It is a win-win for me, because
It is.
on one hand, it's a win-win-win actually, because we get to keep the belt in here. That's
Yep.
one win. If I win, personally, that's a great win for me. If you win, it's the first title that you've won.
no, you're wrong.
Oh, am I wrong?
Yeah.
What'd you get?
Social netball. I'm doing things. I'm
shit,
doing things in
man,
retirement,
actually.
baby. Don't come at me.
I was with you for that one.
Don't come
too.
at me.
I was like, okay,
Hey.
I take that back.
But on top of that, we also have the person who took out the regular season.
The minor Prems. No
The
one
minor
cares about
Preds.
them though.
Hey, where Matua topped the table but has fallen off a steep cliff since then.
Hugely steep cliff.
But hey, what a week it's going to
Minor
be. It's
Preds,
going to be
baby.
fascinating watching these games play out this week, my boy. And
I'm in trouble. You got a spot over there.
to the rest of the crew that competed, unlucky.
Better luck next year.
Oh, thanks for being a part of it, but you're strictly there to make up the numbers.
All right, let's keep on the results then. Let's get straight into it. Let's see what happened
Let's
over the
skip
weekend
this part, I
and
reckon.
see who won
I'm
what.
interested.
Wow.
What's Betcha got for us this week?
What
Come
is it?
on.
Okay, let's go through the matchups and see where we landed. Matchup number 1, of course, Shohei Ohtani. I thought you were wearing your Ohtani top today. Brook, you were supposed to wear your Dodgers one.
Yeah, I missed the memo.
Yeah.
I actually came up with that memo and then forgot about the memo. But that what you're rocking over there, Marc, That is nice.
It is indeed. First game of the Dodgers season, the opening day of Major League Baseball, and you took, it was Shaun who was up first.
Yeah, it was.
And you ended up taking Shohei Ohtani to get a homer, and bingo.
Oh, he did?
He did, in fact.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, he did, in fact.
Yo.
You boys would be better well equipped to expand on that. Talk me through it. Was it showtime, or was it just a nice little warm up?
To be fair, it
First
wasn't.
at bat, wasn't it?
No. He was. I think it was. I was watching. I think it was late in the seventh, or it was the bottom of the seventh innings where he hit his homer.
Okay.
They ended up winning 5-3. They were up at the time as well, so it wasn't quite a Shohei kind of moment, but it was a big moment, and it was a big moment for you, Shaun.
Yeah,
it was a big moment for you.
Can we talk about... shout out to Shohei. I'm actually glad you got that because I'm obviously a big fan of his. But Marc, what caught our eye over the weekend when we were talking about baseball is the 20 runs that the Yankees put up, but they also changed up the bat. Run us through kind of how that changed, and because when you told me about that, I was like, okay, that actually makes so much sense. Why have people not done this earlier?
Yeah, so they have actually done it earlier. This is just the first time the Yankees have been
Oh, so
using
the
this
Yankees
kind of
have done it
bat.
for the first
So what it is, I think it started maybe early last season. A couple of teams started to change the barrel of the bat, so it's not just a cylinder shape the whole way along. Okay, I know what I did with my hands there, but no, it's kind of thinner at the end, and then it gets a bit bigger, so that it passes through the air quicker, and it still hits the sweet spot. So what they've realised is a couple of batters don't actually hit right at the bottom of the bat; they hit more towards the mid side of the bat.
Yep.
And so they've put the bulk of the bat there
Work
and
to your
thinned out
strengths.
the edge. And so yeah, the change of the barrel of the bat is different, but there are other teams that are using it. It's just that
Sounds a bit dodgy to me.
they've set the record for the most
Deflate
home runs.
It's like the old sandpaper.
Yeah, the most home runs opening into the season. The Yankees are using this bat now, and everyone's going, hang on a second,
Wait
it's
a
cheating.
minute.
It's cheating only when the Yankees are using it, though.
Aaron Judge had 4 home runs, man.
Yeah, not bad. All right, let's get into matchup number 2, and it was Lydia Ko to have a top 3 finish, and that was in the Arizona Championship. Man, she did everything but a top 3
didn't she?
finish.
What?
19 under, finished under, and I think it was 6th equal in the end.
Yeah,
but-
tied 6.
We're always going to, Shaun, talk more about this, but you're always going to back Lydia to go top 3. So I'm not mad that I win, But
Brook,
if you go,
Brook,
if you
yeah.
go 19 under, you got to be pretty happy with the day, right?
Oh, I tell you what.
I would take 19 under and go, okay, I came 6th.
And to be fair, obviously all these golfers, all these athletes, they want to win every week they go out there, right? But there's pinnacle events, there's majors, and I know in the LPGA they are heading towards their first of the year, just like the men are in the Masters. I think the ladies first on the Chevron is a couple of weeks later. So Lydia right now would be very happy with what she saw over the weekend and trending. It's all about hitting these peak events at the right time. So let's hope
me, though.
maybe when Betcha comes around next time and that Chevron's on the line, we can pick Lydia to win it.
We always
like
go
it.
Lydia top 3, though.
Oh, always.
We were always going at
Just
well,
quickly
Brook
off the
was
back
at
of
least.
that, sorry, Mark, a little bit more golf. Just want to highlight Minwoo.
Bro, that was cool.
Minwoo, the chef, was cooking at the Houston Open over the weekend. That's his first PGA Tour win. A real personality. I feel like a new wave of golfers coming through that give us a little bit, show us a different side of them, as opposed to just always the little cap nods and the little hand race of the crowd. He got a bit of, did a little aim point for those of you who don't know,
Yeah.
lined up his putt from it felt like only a foot away. The little tap in. If we're playing, we're saying that's good. And he did a little aim point over it, got the crowd going. So yeah, unreal Minwoo. And then also on the back of that, Ryan Fox, another strong weekend. Tied 15th, a handsome 163k collection prize.
Jeez.
So yeah, Foxy's also he's swinging the stick really well too.
I like that.
116th for a
Just really quickly,
weekend
because
golf.
I saw the video. I've seen the video of Scheffler watching that last shot.
Yeah.
What is the aim point thing that he was doing? What are you doing when you stand over the ball and look? What is it?
I'm not even going to act like I know, okay? But all I do know is that they stand on the line sort of further up from where their putt is. They feel the level of the ground underneath their feet. Obviously, they go, it's more on my right, so that means it must be breaking off the right.
Right.
And it's just a different way to read your putts. Then they also work out, it's numbers, it's math, it's slope, it's feel. It's a new
ultimately,
way of reading a putt.
The joke was he didn't need to do it, but
At
he
all.
still did it. He still did
At
it
all,
just for it.
literally could have blew it into the hole.
Right.
Yeah, so it was a bit of a giggle when Scheffler, who probably you'd never see that side of Scheffler, the world's best. It was good to see him enjoy that and
Actually
not take
nice
that too
to see,
serious.
though, isn't it?
Yeah, real good.
Humanizing side of it.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Well, Brook, you took Lydia Ko for a top 3 finish. She
Oh,
didn't.
no.
So that's another win for Shaun.
Go on.
How daunting. All right. And matchup number 3, it was the Black Caps in their first ODI against Pakistan in Napier. That was on Saturday. Shaun, you backed the Black Caps. and the Black Caps didn't let you down. They won by 73 runs. And cricket, man, the Black Caps are looking super strong at the moment. I know it's Pakistan, and you know, Pakistan are either hot or cold, but they'd have to be so happy with that.
It's a tough place for Pakistan to come play, Mark. I did my insight. I got my research done last week, all right? I know you tried to tell me. No, I didn't. I know you tried to tell me that, you know, maybe they might be a little bit better because they come down for the T20 first. They got a read of the pitch. They got a read of the wicket. All that. No. Hey, we're a different breed down here. So, unreal to the boys. Light work. Let's continue that momentum. And it's just good to see my mug up there again. I've already got 3 of the 5, baby.
Look at them.
Look at them bubbling away.
Yeah.
Go, you get a little cheeky, Shaun. Go.
All right.
Go.
Well, it was Brook, your take.
Yeah, let's keep
and
going, eh?
We were talking about the Crusaders hosting Moana Pacifica. This was a huge price bracket, the change in price. So we thought, and this was my bad. I thought, you know, let's not go with Moana Pacifica to actually win that game, being paid $6.50 before the match kicked off. Crusaders $1.08. That seemed a little unfair. Let's go with Moana to score first points, which they'd only done once all season. Brook, you said the Crusaders would score first. But you were wrong, because there was one, Adi Savia, who decided to cross over the line in the 3rd minute, and Moana went up on to win 29-45.
You know, sometimes it does feel good to be wrong. One of those times. Adi a beast. Adi leading from the front. I watched the game. 29-45 actually seems closer than the game actually was too.
Damn.
Crusaders got a try late, so it was closer to that like 22-45 kind of a score. We need to wake up.
Go on.
We need to get out of bed
Preach.
and just go, okay, this team is legit. This team is good. They play Crusaders the Crusaders in Christchurch. They won up front, then they went outside to their backs when they needed to. Adi is just in a different world at the moment. Moana Pacifica, well done. You guys were incredible. I watched that game. You guys look like the business, man. Congratulations.
We need to wake up. I feel like we have been on it. Like we've been watching it.
$6.50 doesn't mean anyone's awake right now.
No, true.
Yeah, but to be fair, before that ball was kicked, no one thought they were going to beat the Crusaders down there.
That's what I'm saying. We need to wake up.
Like, but it's not about waking up. How many games have they won this year?
That was a second. Adi hasn't played a few of those games. Adi needs to be out there when they're winning. They've
You
given
can't
moments.
ask people to wake up if you're genuinely reliant on one player. That's all I'm going to say. I
They've
love
given
what
you
Moana's doing. I love what Adi's doing. I'm a big fan of that move. But I think we can't ask people to wake up if that's their second win and you want to sit here and say Adi needs to be playing for them to win.
Okay, I'll take out the Adi needs to be playing part. I don't think Adi does need to be playing, but he's a huge point in what they are going to do. I will take their part out of it. But the way they played, they have given us
Brook.
glimpses of what we have done, of what we were capable of seeing in the
I
weekend.
feel like you're contradicting yourself here, Brook.
You
'Cause
need
only
to
a couple of
wake
weeks
up.
ago we sat here and I picked
Enjoy this
Moana without Adi. You told me to go do your research.
No, so you didn't
I
do
tried
your
to say,
research.
I tried to say
Do
you
your
there's going to
due
be 15
diligence.
Adis out there. You didn't like that either.
It was the place. It was the
Good
place
Lord.
that we went to.
I feel like
So silly.
What I'm trying to say is that sometimes when you've got the best sides in the competition playing these sides that aren't necessarily
Well, that was the problem.
where we think they are, you can go out there and if your mindset's slightly off against a really hungry side, they will expose you. And I feel like that's what happened in the weekend.
Well, same thing with the Hurricanes. The
That's my
Hurricanes
take.
didn't put out their A-team. Crusaders didn't put out their A-team. Maybe it's not us that need to wake up. Teams that are playing Moana, you need
There
to
you
wake
go.
up. Put up your A-squad because
There you go.
they show up and show out.
That's it.
All right, and the final matchup, and gentlemen, we are in.
Holy
we
lordy,
are
holy
looking
lordy.
Pretty
Before we get
grim.
into the smart tour, just stay right there. Stay right there.
This guy bought props. Oh my god.
Oh, wow. Yes, matchup number 5 happened on Sunday evening. It was the Warriors taking on the West Tigers, and Shaun, you backed the Warriors, who did it well and did it strong and came out winners, meaning that we have an absolute sweep, a clean sweep this week. Brush them. Hold the broom. We have our week 5 winner,
Winners from home has never been
Shaun
used.
Johnson. And look at that. A clean
Fair enough,
sweep
lad, fair
after
enough.
the Warriors
I'll
got a 26-24 final score win.
That's got to be worth something.
That has to be worth
I know what
something.
it does now.
Yeah, your name on the board, lad.
No, I know what it does now. It gets me out of that horrible bet that we made around wearing the jersey to the Warriors game. That's
that
enough
what
to
it
clear
does?
the slate on that 100%.
Is that what it does?
100%.
I think the
Good luck.
MVPs have to decide on that one. Shaun, that game, again, another
Yes,
arm
the
wrestle.
boys, well done.
Another arm wrestle.
Yeah, arm wrestle again. Man, we're going all right at these little combos pre-game. I felt like we sat here and we spoke about expect another tight one off the back of how they played against the Roosters, and I just thought it was a real quality game to finish the weekend, eh? Like two Two sides fairly evenly matched, playing good footy, feeling confident in their footy. And the
In
style,
rubbish weather.
Bro, the style, like the way they move the ball, like people probably don't quite understand how tough that can be. You know, it's very easy to go into your shell, but if you're able to promote the footy, like we saw Fish a couple of times, in particular, James Fisher-Harris, get into the line, find an offload. Like, in the wet, change of angles off the back of that stuff, like we saw with Adam Pompey-Wett's try, left foot. Like, there were so many nice moments within that 80 minutes from both sides that literally, like, we should just be able to sit there and just go, like, what a game of footy. What a game of footy. And then, obviously, there's some highlight plays in there. Everyone's talking about Lecker, which I think I'm going to get into a little bit later with Shaun Hub. But I just want to give a rap to our boy. You know, I don't want to do this to put any more pressure on him or pump his tyres, you know, any more than what the media will do off the back of off the weekend. But Lukey met, all right. So, bro, this is why I want to allude this. It was only 2 weeks ago I was sitting in this chair feeling like I had to somewhat bloody shield him from a few of these bullets that were flying after round one.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and we asked to give him time. We asked to give the spine in general time. And with that time, you start to see things like we saw on the weekend from him.
They look good, man.
Right? Like that try that Lukey Metz scored, with Wade Egan jumping out, selling the dummy of doom. You got your 5'8" on the inside, on the lazy side of the field, recognising Wade going and being able to push. And then you get Luke, who's actually sitting out the back of a shape that he had set up to go play open side. All bets are off. Wade's gone, I'm going. You go 9, 6, 7, try under the sticks. Like, guys, like we are seeing something here building, you know, and it's still not quite there, but these are all little steps in the right direction. So, on top of that, then you see Lukey Met step up at the moment of the game, which he's going to get paid the big bucks to do. He's wanted that challenge. He's wanted the 7 on his back. He's wanted the goal kicking duties. He's wanted to be the person that people turn to ice a moment in a game when he's called upon to do it. And I just thought, seeing him step up in the wet, man, if there's anyone that knows what his legs would have felt like, the water in his boots would have felt like, all the micro details that no one even takes into consideration, I like to think I know about that. So when I saw him put that one through the sticks to put us up by 2, like, genuinely just happy for him. Like, there's no other way I can say it. I'm just genuinely happy for him because it's easy to sit there and want the smoke. It's easy to sit there
Fill
and
your
say,
lungs, baby.
And to say, I want to be that guy. But in his first moment, in the first real test that he got to be it, he stepped up and iced it for us. So, Lukey Met, enjoy the bye, bro. I know he's expecting, him and his beautiful partner Bodie are expecting their first little baby. So, what a time for Lukey at the moment. So, yeah, just really happy for him.
Shout out to the Warriors too. Before we move on, I need you to be honest when you answer this question, because you have insight that we all want, okay? So look at me and say you will be honest when I ask you this question. Come on, just say you'll be honest, lad.
Such a setup.
Yeah. No, I'll be honest.
Or tell me what you know. Actually, let me start with, when you played your last game at Mount Smart, what was the name of the stadium called?
Shaun Johnson Stadium.
What's your name?
Shaun Johnson.
Okay, cool. So you should know. Yeah, just if I'm using that logic, you should be in the know with these things. What's happening with Caitlin Ponga next year?
He's coming.
Don't. I almost fell for it. I almost fell for it.
What's the date today? April 1st. Oh.
What's the time? Damn, you snuck it in before.
Bro, I don't know what's happening with Ponga, man.
Honestly?
I don't even care what's happening with Ponga. Bro, I don't deal in the realms of these rumor rules and these like little speculations.
Well, you do now,
no,
lad.
I don't, bro. I
You
deal
do
with
now.
facts. What you guys been talking about on TMS? Facts. Facts. Now, I can't tell
So
you
you
any
actually
facts
you actually
about
don't
Ponga.
know anything about
No
Ca-
idea
what?
about Ponga. No idea. And I can't see that happening. But to be fair, we will have some cash left. But I like to think that there's some guys in our roster that will be coming off contract that will be expecting a little something, I'd say. So
And deserving something?
yeah, deserving something. So it's an interesting time in terms of if you're in charge of building that roster. And I know the guy that they've got in that role, man, he gonna nail it. So yeah, really excited to see how that all plays out. But man, Ponga, geez, he's ballsy if he wants to come over here after what he did to me.
Yeah.
Hey?
You know, there's been a lot of sports going on the fields and there's also been a lot going off the court. Now, I wanted to bring to the show a conversation that's been going on all week around Stephen A. Smith, who is an ESPN sports analyst and a talking head for ESPN in general, on overall American sports, really, and then one LeBron James.
LeBron James.
Now, if you're not familiar with what's been going on, it's been getting a little personal, and there has been a little feud going on. When I say little, it's been pretty much the headlines out of American sports for the last time, because it's not often you see the guy going after the other guy, and they're both on opposite sides in terms of what they do for a living. One plays sports for a living, one critiques that person playing sports for a living, but it's kind of leaked over into other life situations as well. So there was a really good video that I found that can kind of, I guess, sum up the last few days and what kind of, where it started and what's going on. I found it up, a guy named Rebound Rewind put this video out. So what I'll do is I'll play the audio for those who aren't familiar with what's happened, and then we can have a little conversation about it.
Here's the LeBron James versus Stephen A. Smith timeline. This beef started all the way back in January 29th of this year, when Stephen A. Smith said on First Take that Bronny James should just start in the G League and implied he only made it into the NBA due to nepotism. Over the coming weeks, he continued to criticize Bronny for days on end until LeBron confronted him during a Lakers-Knicks game on March 6th. LeBron basically told him to stop messing with his son. On March 7th, Stephen A. Smith said that LeBron was weak for his mid-game confrontation and that he offered to talk to LeBron privately, but LeBron declined. A few weeks later, on March 26th, a Pat McAfee episode released featuring LeBron. In this episode, he calls out Stephen A. Smith's overreaction, joking that Stephen A. Smith is on a Taylor Swift tour run. He also claimed that Stephen A. was waiting for the video to drop to simply milk more drama. LeBron said that he doesn't mind on-court basketball criticism. He thinks Stephen A. should criticize Bronny's play and his play all that he wants, but he has an issue with personal family jabs. Stephen A. then responds to that, saying he never made any personal jabs and that LeBron fabricated this to dodge criticism, just as he lied about Brian Windhorst claiming to be LeBron's friend. The most heated point of Stephen A.'s response was claiming that he would have taken a swung if LeBron physically touched him during that altercation back on March 6th. After LeBron hit his game winner against the Pacers, he posted an old Instagram video of Stephen A. boxing with the caption, "Womp womp," mocking Stephen A.'s threats as if it wouldn't have meant anything if they got into a fight.
A lot more has been said since, and I think it's really just opens up the floor for a conversation around. I think I may be assuming here, but I feel like we all think that the personal stuff is out of bounds. Am I fair at saying that?
100%.
Yeah.
100%, Marto. I feel like watching this whole drama unfold, at the core of it for me is media having too much access. Okay, so you can say things like, Stephen A. can say things all of a sudden like, if you'd put hands on me, you know, like, come on now. Like,
that's not the full clip though, too. If not, they're only playing part of that. Before that, he goes, LeBron would destroy me if we had a fight. And then it cuts into him saying that. So you're actually not seeing the full thing as well.
But this whole thing, even like talking about having a fight, like, bro, at the end of the day, like, Stephen A. is at the peak of what he does, right? But my issue is when you feel like too comfortable, you deserve more than what you've actually got. And I feel like that's where Stephen A. is right now. Because he knows he's the top dog in his world, he feels like he can get away with saying things like this. That's through him being comfortable. That's through him having access that not many others have. Like Matt Barnes said in his take on it, it's like he carries a certain weight in the league with some of the things that he knows. You know, but that's my issue, like, right there and then. At the end of the day, if you strip it right back, LeBron is going to be LeBron without Stephen A. Like, that's just the facts. Is Stephen A. going to be Stephen A. without LeBron?
And that's where I feel like I get to. That's where I get a problem with it, right? Like, I get exactly what you're saying, but with sports being my background and broadcasting being my background, you dedicate so much of your time, energy, and life that you don't necessarily have to have done, but you do it, and you're doing it to try and help tell narratives. You're doing it to try and sell the game so that LeBron can be LeBron in a league that's successful and is well watched, and there's storylines and the fans engage in it. And like, your craft that you're doing and you're gifting to LeBron, it's a two-way street is what I think. And I don't think journalists ever get the kudos for the time and energy and the skill sets that they bring to the table. And I'm not suggesting, again, I feel like Stephen A's completely stepped over the line. I feel like you're absolutely right when it comes to being too comfy. But I do think there's a real bad knack given to all journalists because they're just being negative, or they're just doing this. Like, they can't critique this because they never played, or there is a sort of like there's a narrative that goes with it where you're not taking into account that these people are dedicating their craft to helping the sport grow and engaging more and more fans, and that's why LeBron is LeBron. We would never have heard of LeBron James if the NBA wasn't big. The NBA wouldn't be big if it just purely played basketball. Like, you need people to know about the basketball. You need people to know about the storylines to want to be it. And before social media, before athletes could go out and put their stories out there and put their brands out there, it relied solely on journalists to get the stories out there and to tell why you should be watching this. Like, we could all be sitting on the couch going, oh, what are we going to do today? And you read something that's like, and it gets you inspired. You're like, man, I got to watch these All Whites and see them qualify for the World Cup. Or
sorry,
blah, blah, blah.
I feel like the narrative what you're talking about is completely separate to what's actually stemmed this conversation.
100% it is, yes.
So, like, because if we're talking about the LeBron Stephen A dynamic between athlete and media,
Yep.
then media's wrong. Stephen A is so far wrong.
Yes.
Because he's starting to talk about, Bronny, but in a manner that's not basketball.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking about why weren't you at Kobe's memorial? Why weren't you doing all this stuff if he put hands on me? Like, bro, no one's here to hear you and see you speak on that. Like, no one cares about you unless you are speaking about the sport, which, to your point, is what he's there to do.
Right.
So don't blur that line of getting too comfortable and feeling like, you know what, I'm going to go at the king in a different way now because I feel like I can.
But then again, that's almost like telling an athlete he shouldn't have a political view. Like, I'm only into you because you have, shut up and dribble. Do you know what I mean? Like that same instinct. So like the Stephen A story, sure, he stepped over the line here, but there is more to Stephen A than just being a news presenter or a sports presenter or a sports journalist. Like, he's got every right to be in this, you know what I mean? When you say, Stephen A, we only watch you for your sports takes, he has every right to be there now because he's in that point where it's past sports takes for him. If he's got other things he's going to bring out of his life, and he should be allowed to do it, and people should be like, yep, cool, well, I've given you my attention through sports, but now you're able to have this platform for bigger and more stuff. And that's kind of where we've ended up, where people will be like Stephen A, just shut up and write stories, which is almost like the flip side of the athletes being told shut up and dribble.
Yeah, well, for me, my take on that is that it's not Stephen A, shut up and write stories. It's Stephen, like, bro, if you want access to these players, and you want access in this world that generates you an income and generates you a role and a job, don't be saying some of the stuff you've been saying lately. Like, because if that was me on a smaller scale out at Mount Smart, I would not even be talking to that journo again.
Yeah.
He ain't going to get nothing out of me.
Did you ever experience anything like that?
No, there's been a couple of journos like that write for League, write for Rugby. I think, I don't quite know, it's like Chris Ratu or something?
Oh, yeah, Chris Ratu.
Ratu?
Yeah.
He wrote some stuff, bro, and if I saw him, I wouldn't engage with him.
Yeah.
I just would not talk to him, I wouldn't give him the time of day. He's written some stuff about me, and I've seen him write stuff about plenty of other players in a manner where it's like, if you generally think you're covering our sport in the best interest of growing our sport, you're so wrong. So why would I give you that time?
See, and that's such a funny point because I've worked closely with Chris Ratu, and he is such a nice dude, but he does write triggering things, and he writes triggering things because it's one of the most popular, and it was always one of the most popular, takes on the Herald website. But he did it, and it also grows the interest in the game, but it does it in a negative way.
So, and I can see Brook here. He's sure he wants in on this.
Sorry.
It's actually nice to sit in the middle and hear you two do your thing. It's like 6 times, but I'm like, I'm gonna chill.
Yeah. Like, Brook, you're about to pop off. I can feel that. Just to that point, and the last thing I'll say on it is, if these journos want to continue to have access to athletes, don't cross the line. Don't cross the line. And the line is crossed when you start talking about personal stuff, because at the end of the day, and probably the highlight out of all of this is that you've got someone like LeBron who after 20 odd years has finally come out and felt like he has to speak on a platform like the Pat McAfee show and show us a side of him that none of us have ever seen. All right? So to me, that tells me that, okay, LeBron's had enough. He has had enough of taking the high road, had enough of just being like, I'm too big for this. Like, nah, this is different now. This is different. LeBron has just showed us that he's got feelings, he's human, he's emotional. And I think at the end of the day, if you want to start writing stuff that doesn't involve what they do and what the actual topic you're writing about, that is the line that you can't you can't erase that line once you've stepped over it.
No.
You know, so if that was me and I was still playing about smart, someone did that to me, bro, like, you ain't getting nothing out of me ever again. Simple. That's my take on it.
I've got a theory about this whole thing.
Go on, bro.
So there was a journalist by the name of Skip Bayless, who for years, we could actually say decades at this point, threw jabs at LeBron. The worst you could think of too. He grew up with the Michael Jordan era. There was no way that anybody was better than Mike, and he would just jab and jab and jab at LeBron. And LeBron never bit, not once. And Skip Bayless just left. And the second Skip Bayless leaves, LeBron all of a sudden pipes up and has something to say, and he chooses Stephen A. Smith. And I just feel like it's grinding Skip Bayless's gears over here. Like, bro, I tried for so long to get you to bite, and you just wouldn't bite. And LeBron, it's a win for LeBron in two ways, going, hey, I can stand up for Bronny over here and go, I actually don't see any nepotism, which is, I know when you say that, I don't. Like, when the Lakers drafted him, they knew what he was going to do for them financially. Let's eliminate the basketball side of it. He's made the Lakers so much money.
Yeah, he has.
So you can get rid of nepotism because we know
It's
exactly.
a business decision.
It's a business decision.
Yeah. I think my final thought on it is that I feel like the pendulum of power has swung significantly in the athletes' advantage now with social media. Before, all the narratives belonged to media, right? It was all media. No one had access, and the only access was really just what the not only what the athlete said, but the journalists' take on what the athlete said.
Yep.
So they got to dictate where on earth the story was going to go and how it was viewed by everyone who was reading it. Nowadays, with social media, the athletes have got just as much opportunity, if not more. People are less trusting of media in general. Fake news, all that kind of stuff has taken the power out of media, and it has swung so significantly in the other direction to the athlete that now there is very little power within the sports media and those who are journalists, and they feel it. I know they feel it. I've been at presses where they're like, ugh. Like the mood went from being where the power brokers here, it's been dropped down onto their knees, and they're like, do we really even need to have any media now? Because the athletes can tell the story, and you guys are just grumpy old people. But somewhere in the middle, I think both belong and both need each other and do well for each other when it's a good working relationship. And I think in this instance, we're all in agreement. This is not a good working relationship between LeBron and Stephen A. because it's gone personal.
Yeah. What I can always appreciate is a good journalist who, let's say for whatever reason, let's use Shaun for example. Maybe I'm a journalist. Shaun cut me off at the lights. Now every article that I write about Shaun isn't about rugby. It's that you pissed me off this one time, or you didn't give me the time of day when we're going to do something. And I can appreciate a good journalist that can mitigate that and still write what they're seeing with their eyes, as opposed to with this feeling that they're having over here at the moment. And I just feel like the longer that the cross that you're talking about here, Marc, with athletes having power and having their own say, and journalists going over here, that as that gap continues to become further apart, these takes are going to become more negative as well.
I imagine so too. You'd hope that that's not the case, but I imagine so too. And as the mainstream,
because you need to be heard, right? I've been heard for so long. What I'm saying, listen to me. Okay, I'll say this.
Yeah. Interesting. Shaun,
Interesting.
no more. You did say this is my last take on it. I can't get you into any more.
No more.
No.
Athletes always right. What?
Play on.
Ooh, we know what that means. Shaun Hub's back. They're gonna be back. They're gonna be back plenty of times.
This is my favorite hub on the internet.
Yeah, but Shaun Hub might be a working title. Not quite sure how I feel about that, but hey, we'll run with it again this week.
I just said it's my favorite hub on the internet, man.
That makes me want to change it. Hey, boys, this week, the one name that is floating around the universe, global athlete after what we saw on the weekend, Leka Halasima.
Oh, hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah.
Damn, the kid can move. The's no denying his ability physically. Bro, have speed like that.
Is he a winger?
No, he ain't a winger. He ain't even outside back.
Wow.
He's a back rower. He can even play middle. Like, his strength. Let's forget about the runaway real quick. Let's just highlight Leka's ability to not be tackled.
That was impressive, man.
Like, find his front. Get quick, play the balls. Like, he is so strong, so physically and athletically gifted that seeing him put on that try in the weekend, seeing him burst down the sidelines in front of the great Benji Marshall like that.
Boof.
Just to do the old bang, bang, come back off the right with a little to the clouds before he dots under. I loved it. I loved every part of it. But,
Bro, lad's only 19 too, right?
it's only 19, boys. I want to give you guys some insights into what puts Lecker in that position in the first place. All right, so bear with me as I work my way through this for another episode of Shaun Hub. Let's do it, all right? So the Tigers put the ball in the pocket as they had done. And we spoke about the pocket last week, all right? It's where they just continued and didn't get sick of turning the ball over in the right parts of the field. In this case, it was actually the opposite edge to Lecker's. Now, before you guys all get in the comment section and start going, don't give away all our secrets.
I saw that.
All right? Like, newsflash, the Warriors aren't the only team that's doing this.
What?
No, they're not, okay?
You telling me there's other teams that do this?
What I loved about this was the Warriors' ability to do it in the 70th minute after what had been an unbelievable back and forth game. And that's what makes this play, like, extremely impressive. So, let's pick it up with the ball being turned over in that left corner, right? So, when the ball gets turned over on your side, you're immediately in charge of the first two plays to get some momentum, to get yourself to the right part of the field. Okay, so you see Edward Kossie takes the ball, takes the first carry. I think it might be, damn, you might have to fact check this. It's either Chance or it might even have been.
It was Chance.
It was Chance that took play 2. Beauty about Chance taking play 2 and getting us to what we call the good part of the field, the positive part of the field, is that you saw the opposite winger in Tane Tuapiki coming and being his support player. So right now, the boys are executing their roles under pressure. Off the back of Tane doing that, you have Luke Metcalf working back behind the ball. You've got Ali Leatoa working back behind the ball. And you've got Leka Halasima working his way to the sting, a.k.a. the wing. Which, again, this is all role-based. So in training, you will do small reps over, okay, what is our role in this moment when the ball gets turned over on this part of the field, this part of the field, this part of the field.
Wow.
Okay? So Lecker's
I'm here, bro. I'm listening.
Lecker has pulled his width there. Lecker has got to the sideline, and what that does, it gives you shape, but it also pulls the defense apart. The defense, if they're looking up right now, they can't shrink up and go after you, and if they do, you're going to move the ball. If they don't, Tane Tuapiki just carries the ball, finds an inside shoulder, finds a nice play the ball, generates some momentum and ruck speed, right? Which is all we're trying to do out of yardage. This time, they shrink up a little bit. So what does Tane do? Tane releases the ball to Lukey Met. This is the part of Lukey Met's game in the weekend I really loved. He wasn't afraid to do the tough stuff. There were so many times throughout the game where you saw him making effort on effort, kept moving defensively, chase backs, everything else. But in this case, it was his time to run. He runs when he realizes that the pass isn't quite on. What does he do? Gets between two defenders because of the shape that they've seen, finds a quick play the ball. This is where we need to pause and really break it down now.
Go on then.
Okay, because it takes balls, boys. Big kahunas to go down the short side again in the wet with the game on the line.
Oh, it does. Go on.
Think about it. Tane's higher percentage play here would have just been like, all right, we've rolled across them. We've got a good ruck. Now let's go back through the middle. High percentage footy. Stay away from the sidelines in the wet. But that ain't Tane Tuapiki, baby. He's a footy player. So what does Tane do? He gets his eyes up. You'll notice his start point is actually on the left side of the ruck. So he is thinking, I want to go back through the middle. What you do when Lukey Met plays the ball defensively, though, you got players like your centre, your back rower in that tackle. So that means a big middle who's played 50-odd, 60-odd minutes in the middle. He's got to travel. He's got to get down the short side and hopefully defend the next play. Tane sees that. They don't get their numbers right. You get a middle down the short side, so slower with their movements. You get Jerome Luai, who's now defending on the wing, who's a little bit tentative about, okay, what are you guys on the inside doing? Tane sees that. Nice little play down the short side. He just goes hands. High percentage footy hands. Gets the ball to Ali, who sums up the play beautifully. Jerome Luai, nice little draw and pass. And this is where you get big Leka Halasima.
70 out.
Do the rest, my bro. Do the rest. Now, we would have been happy if Leka just got carried, because at the end of the day, it's a shift. It's a shift in momentum. If Leka was to have got tackled, you notice he didn't try go for a kick or a miraculous play. If he would have got tackled, then we're probably scoring on the next play anyway. There's no way their middles are getting back behind the ball, but no. Leka ain't happy with that, are we? The global superstar. He comes off his right foot, and the rest is history. But we can sit here and talk about the run, and we should. We should be applauding that because he's a special talent. But what I loved was the Warriors' ability to execute their role under pressure in a big part of the game, the 70th minute, when you're fatigued, when it's wet, when your legs are jelly. To be mentally locked into executing your role in that part of the game was what gave Lecker that opportunity. So kudos to all of the boys, the back five in particular. Lecker pulling shape, a young kid, easy for him just to switch off there. He might have had Ali going, Leck, get to the wing. You know, like, there's so many small elements that go into creating that play, which I really loved. And let's hope we can see more of it, eh? So unreal, boys, unreal Lecker.
Good breakdown,
massive
baby.
win, massive win. So I know they got the bye this week too. Enjoy it, lads, enjoy it.
Break it down now. Break it down.
Indeed. Man, there's so much. I have just so you're aware, Shaun, and I'm sure you probably already are. In layman's terms, I have no idea that they would be practicing. The Warriors boys would be practicing that exact scenario and having it ready. But then it's not only to practice it; it's been able to execute it as well, and then have the foresight to be able to play what's in front of you. Right? There's so much going on.
Because we always say like structure versus opportunity. But if you execute the structure and the shape right, opportunity comes off the back of it. And I just thought in that moment of the game, that's exactly how it played out.
I'm going to start calling you Ray Gun because that was a breakdown. That was good.
Way to wreck my whole segment.
Yeah, and there we go. That's the show for this time of the week anyway.
Oh, yeah. So
We get
we're
another
back
one.
in a couple of days?
We are indeed.
Yeah, Brook gets a chance.
Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Right
I
is
still have
wrong
a
from the
challenge
sweep.
for me and you, Shaun, but we'll leave that one for a little bit later.
I ain't buying it.
Yeah. All right.
No,
We'll
actually,
catch you guys
don't want
on Thursday.
Yeah, that was fun, team. Loved it.
Lambrongini. Look at the speed! Shaun Johnson! Aguero! It's over! Pass is intercepted at the goal line.
In your life have you seen anything like that?
Elliott hits it up into the grandstand! And New Zealand are in the World Cup final!
Play on.